Okay, here we are. This is lesson 6 of time-lapse drawing of Bentley Mulsanne, and what I have, what I said I would do, would be to work on the tires today and the side of the body a little bit more. So I'm roughing in where the tires are, putting down a base coat of ink that's kind of sparse. It's not heavily populated. So what that'll do is make the lightest part, the highlighted part, will be what this is going to be the same value as basically. And then I'm just trying to make sure that I get it to the point that you can see where the sunlight's hitting it and you can tell the other part that's in shadow. And I'm working into the shadow of the wheel wells too. Off camera you can see, if you look at yesterday's, you can see that I put the two right side tires that you can see are now in very deep shadow, and I increased the shadow underneath the car too, at least in the edges that are as far away from us as possible, so you know that it would be right directly underneath the car. And that came along well. Okay, here I am putting a shadow in the tire right next to the wheel, so that gives me a clear line of demarcation between the light part and the dark part. Okay, and now I'm going to work on the part of the tire that I don't draw, which is the treads, because they're just frankly a pain. So what I always do is, because they're underneath the car, unless the wheel's turned outward, what I like to do is to put the treads in shadow, and that makes it a lot easier, and it makes it more dramatic too, to show the body against it. And I really enjoy doing it that way. It makes the drawing go faster too, but most of all I think it makes it look better, especially when you've got a deep shadow underneath the car. Then the tire just blends into it, and you can get the sense that the car is sitting on the ground instead of just floating in space. I can't stand that when cars, you see a picture of them and there's nothing, no ground plane to work off of. So I always try to work on that very hard to make sure that it looks like the car could be sitting there. Okay, again, here I am working on the front tire. And the side of the tire, of course, is not as dark as the tread will be, which is in total shadow. So I have to figure out how far it's going to be in shadow, and then how far it's going to be on the outside, which would be caught by ambient light. And the ambient sunlight is going to lighten it to some extent, but not like direct sunlight would. So again, just like always, it's a balancing act between one and the other, but it's coming along great. And there I am working right directly underneath the car and the start of the treads as it goes up to the front apron of the body. And also there's a shadow right at the fender where it goes across the tire too, and that casts a shadow as well. So I'm going to draw that in a little bit later. Okay, darkening up the tread right now. Come along great so far. The car is starting to take on some weight too. You can tell that it actually is a solid thing at one point. Not my drawing, of course, but that the car is a substantial piece of metal. There we go. Starting to look pretty good. And also the right rear sits behind the left front in our drawing. If you take a look at it underneath there, and that's what that is. So what I did with it was to darken it up also, and the lightness of the left front, which is forward closest to us, showing against the one that's back in the back, the black part, then that'll give you some sense that there's some depth to the drawing too. So always you try to play one tonal value off against the other one, or one color if you will, but of course it's all black and white, or gray and white. And I'm darkening up a little bit now because the left side of the car is in shadow too, more so than the front of it is. So I'm just trying to show a difference in color between the parts that are in shadow and the parts that are in light. That gives you the sense that the car has physical dimensions, that it has width and it has roundness and it has square corners. And there we go. Okay, coming up on the end of it right now. We'll do a lot more of it tomorrow. I'm expecting we're going to get the front wheel done and maybe the rear wheel done too. Anyway, see you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.